Welcome to an all new episode of the Edge Whitetails. Yes, it has been a while. It's been a little, actually I think it's been a month today since we had some content on the channel for you. We've battled some floods, we've battled lots of rain, we've battled a little bit of everything down here in the land since the last time you saw me. But also the last time you saw me, we sprayed this, and we're going to update you on everything we've had going on in the farm on this episode, August 16th, 2025. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Edge Whitetails.
Welcome back. So, August 16th, 2025, it's getting ever so closer to that magical October 1st. And we've had a lot of stuff to get done in this land. I'll run you through some pictures here. We battled floods, and we're going to show you a little bit of everything on what we battled here through trail cam pictures.
August 1st, the flood actually got up on the food plots, and as you can see, even held some ducks over top of the clover. We had a heron in there feeding, so the minnows were enjoying the clover. By August 3rd, it receded pretty quick. You can still see there's some water, but because it got up on the clover and receded that quick, it didn't really hurt the clover. By the 3rd, the deer were back feeding in it. And this is me on the 13th. You can see how deep it got. It kept growing, you know, even while it was submerged. And you can see how high it is on the mower. It was a chore to get it mowed. You can see I'm not super happy in this little screenshot here off of the trail camera. Basically had to mow it like 3 times. You can see I'm going back and forth and crisscrossing. This is trying to beat that storm, as I mentioned on Friday evening. And I'm fertilizing here. And then I started disking. You can watch the timeline below. I did it very, very fast. Disking. This is the center of the main plots where I had seeded the maximum and final forage and winter bulbs. And here I start the broadcasting process. You can see it's getting a little darker. And here's where it's actually raining in this, and I'm still broadcasting at 3:41. So I did all that in about 40 minutes. But yeah, we went from that to that.
So as you see there, that we battled floods, and then everything still continued to grow. Luckily, the clover made it, as I said there, on the main food plots, on the south food plot. Luckily, we're in good shape. I've battled all week mowing all that off, as you saw. And last night, I was going to do this video last afternoon, and I got off of my normal day job working in the machine shop at 2:30 yesterday in anticipation of getting those areas disced up for turnips and brassicas, and getting everything finished up. Well, a severe thunderstorm was just to the west as I got off work, and I rushed and got the main plot seeded. I will show you a little bit of how we did that in today's episode. I will show you because I still have the south plot to do, and I'll show you exactly what I did in the main plots. I'll show you what the main plots look like, and we'll show you all that in this episode. But the last episode we had, you seen this area, this exact area right here, I was spraying to get ready to seed it. Well, in that time frame, I got it sprayed, and even though the main part of our hunting land was flooded, I was able to seed this area a couple weeks after I had sprayed. And I'm standing in a very beautiful brassica plot right now, mixed in with the corn, and you even see some of the oats coming up in there. There is some weeds in this little section here, but we're not going to worry about that. I think the brassicas will shoot up fast enough that it'll canopy over this, and no big deal. I'm going to take you for a little walk through what we have. So it's really cool. Like, we have this whole bottom southeast section here that's like a little 1/4 acre plot, and then in amongst a bunch of the rows and down along this bottom edge of the field, we have, you can see the brassicas coming up in the rows there. And we've been getting so much moisture, some of it's actually getting too much moisture, but I think after last night's rain, and then it's supposed to be super hot today, we're going to have this stuff really explode. I fertilized this before I seeded it, and this was broadcast, as you can see, really cool, right down through the rows inside the corn. Really neat stuff coming along. We had a bare spot here. I went ahead and seeded all that. You can see way in there that there's the brassicas are coming up in amongst the rows. Lots of good forage here. Now this was all final forage, a little bit of radish and a little bit of winter bulbs, and then like I said, I mixed in oats. And we come down to the top end of the plot here, and it's all seeded in real nice here as well. The cool part is throughout my years of being on this farm, this corn plot, every time we've done corn, it has never really gotten very tall. Well, this year it just took off, and the ears are all looking good. We've got lots of ears all the way through. Ears on every piece. We were kind of worried with some of the weeds in here that the ears wouldn't, but as you can see, they did. And I could not be more pleased with how all this turned out here. I think this is going to be a really good late season food source. It's out away from the timber, and I think this is something they'll utilize in their evening feedings, and I'm really excited about it. So I'm going to take you next. We'll end up at the main food plots, and then we'll take you through, well, actually no, we're going to end up at the south plot, and I'm going to take you through what I did to beat the storm last night, and then I'll show you where we seeded in the main plots before we wrap all this up. So this is only the beginning as we go into fall of 25. The excitement continues to build. We're going to have a lot more content on the channel, even though I know I told you all that back in July. I'm really hopeful that we don't have the terrible weather and all that crap that we dealt with there. I'm hoping we're past that. I'll show you real quickly though, as I'm walking back to the Ranger. We're back in that little 1/4 acre section, and as you can see, it goes all the way to the west as well, with all that mossy oak biologic, final forage, winter bulbs, and radishes. So follow along with me today. Nothing too real exciting, but you're going to want to stay tuned, because I am going to also debug the brand new blind to the south. I tried to go in there the other night and got a bee sting, and I found out I'm not nearly as allergic to bee stings as I once was told I was, or I grew out of it, because I swelled up like a balloon back when I was 19. But got hit with one the other night, was actually pretty worried about it, and came out okay. So hang out till the end of the video, because we're going to debug that sucker. I've got some wasp and hornet spray. We're going to get this done. Hopefully I don't get stung again. And you can really tell that it is fall seeding when you look at my Ranger, and it looks like, this thing looks like the Clampets are headed to Beverly. There's just, this poor thing. Anyway, hopefully you younger viewers even know what that means. So we're going to roll along. Don't want to give out my age there, so stick around. All right, so you can probably see the bugs swarming. It is the Amazon jungle down here in the river bottom right now. Especially with that rain we got last night. It's got everything up out of the weeds. So I just got done mowing the south plot, which was kind of a struggle. I'm hooked onto my disc. Some of you loyal viewers have seen the disc before. It's got the big weighted disc up front, drag section behind. Now I'm going to flip the camera, and we're looking over the main plots. Now, as you can see, right on this side, that's all clover. I've got that mowed, clover and chicory. And then right here, I burned that down with some Roundup 3 weeks ago, and then it flooded, and so it killed everything off. I disked this last night before that storm, fertilized it, disked it, got it all seeded. As you can see, the rain would have really packed that seed in for us overnight. And I'm gonna keep going now. A lot of you loyal viewers know this is Dell's hot spot, Delena's hot spot, my daughter. She's got her blind at the top of the food plots. As you can see, I disked up a lot of this. But the cool part about disking is you can see that there's still clover that's going to survive in this, even though I disked it. And that's how we're going to do the south end as well. Now, this is a bit of an experiment for me. A lot of times what I would do when it came to fall seeding is I would completely burn it down. We would come in, we would till it up, and then I would plant the turnips, you know, winter bulbs, final forage, all that great mossy oak biologic products. Well, this year I just couldn't bring myself to burn that clover down. So I'm experimenting with this. I'm coming in, and that disc is exposing enough soil for the seed to soil contact of the final forage seeds, you know, all that good stuff. All the seed is going to have good seed or soil contact, yet I'm not killing off that clover completely, so there'll still be clover in it. Now so I'm going to flip the other stretch. Now this also has maximum in this stretch right here. One thing that really bugs me is the rain overnight last night. There's a low spot in this section, and that's right where it's puddled up. I'm hoping that dries off today and doesn't really hurt things. If it does, I'm going to come right in a couple days and seed that again. But again, it was really burned down good. This side won't have nearly as much clover in it and amongst it, but I wanted that because I want to see what the maximum will do. All that seed, as you can see, it's just the rain really packed into the soil, so it should have good seed to soil contact. Really pleased other than that puddle on what we've got here. And then if you look across where I had all that beautiful biologic clover plus is already starting to poke back through. We got rid of the weeds, and by a couple weeks from now, this is going to be super, super lush. I'm really stoked about that. We're going to make our way to the south end now, and I'm actually going to go around the other way because at the bottom of this, there's also a great big puddle that I really don't feel like walking through today. So all in all, very happy. It took a lot of work to get the weeds because I couldn't get in here and mow during those flooding times. It took a lot of work to get these weeds knocked down, but we finally got them under control. I think the clover's got a great fighting chance now. Now, not all weeds are bad in your food plots. Deer will browse on a lot of different things. They actually really love ragweed, to be completely honest with you. But we all love that perfect looking food plot, and that's what I strive for. But I don't let it concern me so bad if there's a few weeds here and there and amongst it anymore, because the deer seem to browse on everything. And a lot of my goal in this property, these farms, is a lot of browse with what I've done with habitat and everything. You know, look back on the hinge cuts and stuff last spring, the ones the year before, and everything that produced. You can look back on those great videos and just see that's the whole goal here, is having lots and lots of browse. 75% of a deer's diet is that browse back in the timber. So food plots are a great benefit, and they're destination food, and then out to the ag fields. But I'm rambling there, but I really am pleased how this turned out, and I couldn't have timed it better with the rain. As we get to the south plot now, I can still utilize last night's rain. I'll still be able to utilize that. The soil's still really damp. We're going to open it up. And last night I didn't drive on this and pack it in. Well, I shouldn't say pack it in, just drive over it and kind of push the seed in because that rain was coming. Today on the south end, I will drive in circles and get the new seeding packed in and ready to rock, and it'll germinate right away because we have wet soil. So I'm going to keep moving, and we're going to get this disc down to the south end, and I'll show you step by step this process. And like I said, it's an experiment, but you're going to experiment with me. So here we are down at the south plot. Now, as you can see, I just got done mowing it this morning, and you can see there's a lot of weeds in this yet. This one I did not burn this down with Roundup. This has really nice clover in it. We just really needed a good mowing, and we needed the floodwater to recede to get rid of those weeds, and by mowing. The problem with river bottom ground is you have that risk of flood, and when a flood happens, that water gets over top of it, and that water washes in just about every seed known to man, and you deal with weeds. I mean, it's just, that is gonna happen in a river bottom setting. On a dry year, I can spray, I can have everything looking perfect and no weeds in it. But when you get those wet years like we've had this year and you get a little bit of flooding here and there, it's something you just got to learn to live with. So as you can see, the soil is really moist. Might even be a touch too moist for disking. I've got to do it when I can. Today's August 16th. We're already getting towards the back side of that window on fall brassica planting for my area in northeast Iowa. So I'm going to get this disc rolling and I'll show you just how much we'll work it up. Honestly, I could probably spread that brassica seed in amongst this right now and get a pretty decent stand, but we're going to go ahead and help out by opening it up. Ha! I forgot one last step, folks. That's how forgetful I can be sometimes. I was going to show you all, I need to fertilize this before I disc it in. So I was so anxious to get ripping on that disc. It's just kind of fun to rip the soil up a little bit. I need to fertilize this first. So I stopped. I realized it after I made my little second round there. So what I fertilize this with is Mossy Oak Biologic recommends on most of their brassicas a 13-13-13. And it just so happens you can get lucky and find 13-13-13 readily available at most home and garden stores. We have close by a Blaine's Farm and Fleet. It's just simple. It's just simple estate garden fertilizer, 13-13-13. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to use my Biologic Gamekeepers broadcast seeder, and I'm going to use that fertilizer. I'll spread that all across here nice and uniform. I'm going to use that 40-pound bag on this plot here. Like this plot's maybe 3/8 of an acre, and going to spread that on here. That's probably still not quite to the recommended amount, but this is pretty fertile soil anyway here in this river bottom. So I'm going to get that fertilizer spread, and then I'll show you once I'm done disking. All right, so as you can see, the disking is done. It really doesn't tear it up too crazily. Like I said, you can still see the clover and stuff in there, but it adds enough surface area with the exposed soil to get the brassica seeds down into it. So here, it does tear up some clover, but it doesn't hit everything, and that clover will just bounce right back up. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to seed this. And in the south of each plot, I have a little different mix in each one. Like the one I talked about on the east side of the waterway up there I have a bunch of Maximum in, which is a really large leaf brassica that's pretty cool. I haven't planted it a lot, but really want to try it this year. It's a mid-season. They should really be on it, especially after that first frost. So when I do go about these plots, I go into it with a little bit of a plan. I'll kind of show you what I do here. Now, even though this is just a little sketch with pencil and a piece of paper, I just kind of went over what I want to do with each plot, each section, and what needs to go in there. So this south one, we're going to go with the radish. I'm going to overseed with some clover, and then we've got... This is the Maximum. The bag got really wet last night, so I put it in a Ziploc. I didn't want the seed to get wet overnight. We've got deer radish, And then this is a little bit left of the Clover Plus. Being with the Clover Plus in August, you're really not going to see much benefit out of that. But since this is already clover, I shouldn't say benefit. You won't see much benefit this fall out of that. But since this is already clover, I did the same up there. I overseeded everything since we went through that flood with more clover seed. Won't see a lot of benefit out of it this fall, but next spring, right after, you know, thaw and that first green up, that clover is going to take fire. So it'll help you going into next spring for your next year's plots as that goes. So gonna that Gamekeeper broadcast spreader up with all this great biologic seed, and I'm gonna get this seeded. I'll spare you the me walking around. You can see it's been a long week. I haven't even shaved. Been down here mowing everything every night. So I'm gonna get this broadcast, and then stay tuned. We're gonna debug. You can just see it. That new blind location for the fall of 2025. It's the one I got stung in looking at it Monday night. So we're gonna debug that sucker before I leave today. So I'll get this seeded up, and then we'll head on down, and hopefully I don't get stung again. We'll take care of that. All right, you can tell it's hot. It's only noon, and heat indices are supposed to go to above 100 today. So it's warm. It's jungle-like with the humidity down here from the rain last night, and honestly the rain all summer. But anyway, the south plot is now seeded and packed in. That's the finished product. That's what it looks like. That seed should actually moisture already in the soil, even though we probably, I mean, I don't know when our next chance of rain is, but probably tomorrow with the way things have been this year. Even without the rain, that seed will start to germinate now, especially with the fact that I packed it in with the Ranger. Gets that great seed to soil contact. I can't emphasize that enough. So we're going to go and check out this blind now, and I hope I don't come out with some stings, because that was not fun on Monday. So follow along. We're headed down there. All right, we are at the blind. The roof has actually fallen in. These are hub-style blinds that sit upon a platform. I buy these through Sportsman's Guide. I really love them because they have a 5-foot platform, 4x4 foot, just enough room for Delana and myself to sit in. I can bow hunt out of them solo on those rainy days. But that hub style, you know, it can only hold up to so much, and the rain and the heavy wind this year has pushed that roof in. I went in there Monday night to pop that up and opened the door and was immediately surprised by a swarm. So I was actually lucky to only get hit with one of them. So how I'm going to go about this is a new location down here, and I would like to, I left the door open the other day. I never even really had a chance to see where their little hive or nest or whatever was, and I don't see any flying around right now. So what I really like to do is ever so easily climb up the ladder and just take a peek in there. I have wasp and hornet killer that shoots from a distance, but I would like to know where I'm shooting before I stir them things up. If I can stand out here on the trail, great, because I left a couple windows open on purpose just so the wind blows through. But let's see what happens. I'm going to do my best not to bump or disturb anything. I'm just going to real easy. Actually, I haven't put the floor in this yet, so a guy can see. I don't see any nests. I'll kill the camera here for a minute. See this a little better. I wonder if I just had a little swarm of bees in there the other day that were just in there. I see something flying around. Hang tight. Okay, mystery solved. Corner. Again, I'm not going to disturb anything. In each corner is, I don't know if you can see it or not. Yeah, there you go. Is a nest. There's one in each corner. Well, at least there's one in that corner and this corner up here. So I'm going to stay away. Let's see if I can find that again. The sun's so bright out here. There we go. soaked that one. Wonder if he's going to send out a signal to the others. There was one on there, two on there, three. There's a bunch. The other one is right up there. There you go, right up through the grate. You can see it now. There's a bunch on there too. It was a wasp that got me the other night. They're dropping. Okay, I need to check the other corners though. Ugh, this is just scary. I'm filming my demise. Hope not. I think there's one right above me too in this corner, but I am not certain. No, there is not. Alright. I think that's a win, guys. Let me turn this camera around. Alright, I think that's a win. We got both those nests. I'm going to leave it be for just a minute. Because that was not fun the other night. Scared the hell out of my wife because we were told years ago that I was deathly allergic to bee stings. And I don't know if wasp venom's different, but I just had avoided stings altogether. And when that one hit me the other night, I made sure I got home immediately and just to make sure there wasn't a reaction or anything like that. But so that was your kill shots for today. This stuff is foaming and hopefully it's really doing its job right now, because I would sure love to eradicate those and get this thing ready to go. I need to put that floor in. I'll show you real quick while we're at it before we wrap this up what I do for a floor in these blinds. You can kind of see that blind there, and like I said, under $300 if you watch the sales on Sportsman's Guide, which to me is just so cost effective compared to a redneck blind, or a muddy blind that's about $3 grand. And then I take these exercising mats, puzzle piece exercising mats, and there's a 4x4 square right there. It'll do the floor. Generally, I usually line it with black tape, but I had just regular duct tape at home. I usually use black duct tape just to match everything inside. But just I like to for quietness, and I feel like if I seal that floor up, the thermals don't pull my scent down underneath, and we can keep as much scent inside there as we can. I know it's just a fabric material, but either way, if you're in the market for a blind and you don't want to spend thousands of dollars on your land, check out Sportsman's Guide. They also make a 6x6 guide gear brand, and it's in great mossy oak camo, so you can't beat that either. So check out Sportsman's Guide. Not affiliated with the page. I just you know, just like everybody else, I'm a working man, and like to save some money where I can too. So we're gonna wrap this up today. I can still see wasps flying out of there, so I'm gonna leave it alone for a while and be smart about this. And we're gonna wrap this up for August 16th. The fall seeding is done, unless I have to. I'm not gonna be negative about it. I won't have to spot check where those puddles were. Anyway, for the Edge Whitetails, I'm Eric Johnston. Remember to get outdoors.